folks. Welcome to the Movie Propcast, the podcast where you get to hear two somewhat funny guys talk.
Offended. I'm offended. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but now I'm actually offended. You've upset me today. But continue. Somewhat funny people, yes.
Two somewhat funny guys discuss their favorite movies, and then we draft our favorite props at the end. And today is a special day. If you're somewhat superstitious like me, I'm not superstitious. I'm just
you're a little stitious.
I'm a little stitious. I'm a little stitious. And today is 2222022. Yeah, this is
February 22nd, 2022. For people who don't know what just happened in their ears. But yes, this happens only once in a lifetime. I was not alive 100 years ago to experience it in 1922, and I also didn't have a podcast back then.
No, and you won't be alive 100 years from now in 2122.
That's to be decided. All right, I'm not going to say never yet. The future, you never know what's going to happen. All right, it could be possible. We'll still be like, welcome to another movie podcast.
You would actually be asleep that time. I would actually have to wake you up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's possible, though. You never know. Who knows what kind of advancements we'll make in the future? I don't know.
Maybe it'll just be our consciousness. Like, we'd be brains floating in, like, a fluid.
Like the Futurama, heads in a jar.
Yep. All
right.
We'll be doing podcasts that way in 100 years. So, hopefully, we have a bigger choice of movies by then, because I wanted something special to commemorate this day. So I naturally jumped on and looked at all the movies with the number 2 in it. There was Mile 22. There was Two Guns. Man, we almost did It Takes Two. But
okay, all right.
I mean, I didn't know if that would hit our audience the same. So I finally landed on 22 Jump Street.
Which is, to me, it's a great movie. It hurts me that we're skipping 21. Obviously, we talked about this, but it just makes sense to just quick hit 22 Jump Street on to 22. There's so many. You got to have the twos, man.
You got to, and you did that in one go. So I'm proud of you. That was very good. It looked painful.
It did. It really hurt. I'm not going to be able to recover from that.
So we've got 22 Jump Street. Like you said, the sequel to 21 Jump Street, which was a remake.
It was like a soft reboot of a show back in, I don't know what year it was. It was a long time ago.
80s?
Long time ago,
long time ago.
100 years ago.
So they redid 21 Jump Street as a comedy starring Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. And we're doing the sequel now. So... Let's see.
So real quick before we get into the actual movie, obviously we're going to draft our props here later in the film. We're going to break down what we saw from this film. But before we do, at Movie Propcast on Instagram, Twitter. We're on Twitter. Yeah, we tweet the links out. If you're on Twitter, at Movie Propcast, you can find us on TikTok. And full video podcasts are available on our YouTube channel. Find the Movie Propcast and hit subscribe. And then, you know what? Hit the little stupid bell, too,
I was going to say,
get the notification.
Not just subscribe.
Yeah.
You gotta hit the bell and subscribe, man.
Hit the bell so when we post something at any time of day or night, you'll get the notification straight to your phone, and then you'll look at it and be like, why did I hit the bell? And then you'll go to our page and you'll uncheck the bell. But for that brief moment, we got you. Anyway, 22 Jump Street. You're right. This is it's a lot of fun. The first one was a lot of fun, and I feel like this is another one where people, when it came out, you're like, what are they doing, bro? The first one was good. It was in its own space. It was fantastic, and they came out the 22 Jump Street. You watch it, and then you're like, wait a minute. It's still fun. It's still funny. It's so ridiculous, and it's still a good time. If you looked at the ratings for this movie, like the Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb scores, you may be surprised to know.
Oh, yeah.
It's very high.
I thought it was going to be, bombed. And what is it, 6.7 on IMDb? Something ridiculous?
I was pretty sure it was at 7.
So it's above 5, and it's above 4. I would expect a movie like this to get a 4.
It's 7.0 out of 10 on IMDb, and even on Rotten Tomatoes, 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's insane for Rotten Tomatoes.
That's crazy, especially for a comedy movie, and a comedy movie of this degree. This isn't your traditional comedy. This is raunchy comedy.
Yeah, it's not like soup. I mean, I've seen crazier stuff than this, obviously.
Yes,
there was a phase, especially in those early 2000s, where it was early 2000s, but the 2010s, that wall of years right there was some crazy cringy stuff that came out. And honestly, comparatively, this is pretty soft.
Yes,
this is pretty soft. But what they did well, and I'm not sure how many movies were doing it. I mean, it came out in 2014. I don't really remember a lot of movies. Obviously, over the span of time, it's happened, from time to time. But like this one did it very well. That it definitely didn't take itself seriously. It knew exactly right away that it's a cash grab for them from the industry. It's
I love doing this with you because you always have the same notes as me. Like my third note and my fourth note are just about how this movie breaks the fourth wall. They reference themselves and then they discuss other things while discussing themselves at the same time, and it's hilarious.
Right. At the beginning of the movie, Nick Offerman plays Deputy Chief Hardy, and that they're in there, and just so we're clear, we'd established the names, Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. Channing Tatum is Jenko, and Jonah Hill reprising his role as Schmidt, which is just sounds, that name is just synonymous, I think, with just douchebaggery in my life. I don't know why. It just doesn't sound...
Well, because you watch New Girl, that's why.
Yeah, New Girl's great, though. Don't even get me started on New Girl. But Nick Offerman in as Deputy Chief Hardy again, and at the beginning of the movie, he basically lays it out, and everything he's saying is... It's like behind the scenes industry stuff. They're just plugging it into the movie when he's talking about how, I don't even know why they brought you guys back. I don't know what's going on, but we're doing it again. You know what I mean? Like everything he said was just hilarious.
He's like, the department is blowing their budget on you. Like he's like, the department got a bunch of money, and every time they talk about the department blowing their budget, and they're like, oh, we can't destroy this stuff because like we're running out of money, and they're obviously talking about like the movie itself, not the police department. It's just the like double entendre throughout the movie was absolutely hilarious. Like it was great.
How did you feel about the beginning of the movie? Because I did not go back and rewatch 21 Jump Street before we started this again, although I had seen it multiple times. The beginning of this movie gives you a recap as if you're binge watching. You know what I mean?
Yes, I love it.
They go back to 21, show you all the little clips, and then immediately bring you back into this movie. I'm like, why would you do that? But then it's kind of like, it's pretty funny.
For like comedy sequels should all do something, not all because then it would be played out, but it was great in this movie. I saw that and I was like, I didn't even have to watch one. Like they just gave it to me and it was funny. So
it basically was like a highlight reel of the first thing, and again it kind of helps set up a lot of the jokes in this movie too, because it was just like just in case people are coming in just watching this, here's the dumb stuff we did, and everything we talk about now is us referencing the dumb stuff that we did, and we're doing it again, but now bigger. Yeah,
and
it's
older.
A fun time.
Yes,
and older. And then Ice Cube, obviously back as Captain Dixon.
Yeah,
icing on the cake. I had to say that. I don't know why. I just felt like I had to say icing for Ice Cube, which is also what they made his office in.
A giant ice cube. Yes,
they reference that. They're like, hey, man, it looks like a giant ice cube in the middle of this church that they took. I love how they moved addresses because it is now 21 Jump Street was the address where they were located when they first did their mission, and they just got kicked out, and then they went across the street, and now they're at 22 Jump Street, the name of the film, and then you see like a nod across the street. They're like, man, I wonder where we're going to be at next time, and it's 23 building condominiums or something over there. They're 23 Jump Street.
They took the time to throw in so many small things that they didn't need to. And, like, if you're paying attention, this movie is 10 times funnier than if you're just, like, passively watching it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just a lot of dumb things that you would think. That's what makes it, I think, rate well in reviewers' eyes, because they're not taking themselves seriously. They're not saying, this is fine comedy. They're saying, it's like meta humor, and it's funny. It's like, to me, it's like one of the first instances, at least in my life. I mean, I was growing up. I mean, I'm not going to say how old I am, but I was a younger boy, and I was like, man, this is really tickling me, this humor, and it's good. That was awesome. Did I say tickled? You get tickled? You weren't tickled during this film?
No, I was definitely tickled. I was tickled a lot during this film. Like I had both like hearty laughs and little chuckles. Like I went through the full range of laughter in this movie.
That's
like
good. That's where it's at.
Snicker to chuckle to full laughter.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. I snickered a little bit.
That's good, dude. That's good. Everybody should snicker every once in a while.
I think what mainly got me is I don't know if we've talked about this. Did we talk about like buddy cop stuff? Like, do you have an affinity? Like, do you enjoy like little buddy cop things? Like,
yeah, I think it makes bad movies watchable if there's a good dynamic between the two leads in like a movie like this. And I think Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill have great chemistry, and they go back and forth in both of these films. And I could watch it all day.
Yeah, I just love it because like I feel like if we were cops, we would be like them. Like it's them wanting in the first movie they genuinely want to do this and they genuinely want to be good, but they're both just so irresponsible and dumb.
Right.
And it's ridiculous.
I love at the beginning they're just like they're not even obviously in the first movie they're like bicycle cops and they're just patrolling a park and everything like that. But in the beginning of this movie they have to go do something, but they take like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to just play with their guns. Like they're just messing around like thinking that they're bigger than what they are. I don't know.
Like when Jonah Hill was getting himself into character, I 100% pictured you. Like don't talk to you. I have to get into character.
Yeah, he's like, I need complete silence. I need complete silence. Every time he like breathed, he wasn't even speaking. Oh my god, it's just dumb humor like that when they just keep hitting you over the head with stuff, and it's like I love that. I think that's a lot of fun.
So did this movie make you uncomfortable at all? Because I get that secondhand awkwardness. So, like, I'm one of those people who, if I watch a movie and I know something, like, someone's about to get dumped, I have to pause it for a second because I'm very empathetic and I start to feel that, like, weight in my chest. Right. And this movie made me so uncomfortable because it was so awkward at times.
Yes. There are a lot of scenes that just kind of, like, you wish you weren't in the room for.
Yes.
Especially with Captain Dixon and that whole situation. With his daughter, and obviously they go off to college, and they're doing essentially the same exact thing that they're doing in the first one, except for instead of high school, it's college.
Yes.
And to be fair, that situation that happens with Schmidt and Maya, Captain Dixon's daughter, why wouldn't Captain Dixon say my daughter?
At the very beginning, like first thing, you guys are going to this college. By the way, here's my daughter. Exactly. Stay away. That should have been the first thing that was said, and for some reason he just let that go, let that slide, as if, you know, the beautiful Channing Tatum isn't going to hit on the very beautiful Maya. Sorry, Jenko. Jenko doesn't hit on, like, I 100% would expect Jenko to hook up with Maya if I'm the captain, but
instantly would have been like, bro, stay the heck away from my daughter. Here she is. If you touch her, I'll kill you. And that's it. That should have been the end of it. But it goes unsaid, and then they come back, and Schmidt's all like, yeah, I got some at college, and then he gives him a high five. He's all happy for him and all that stuff. But in the back of your mind, you got to be like, who would do that?
Yes.
And then you call your daughter and be like, what's going on? Like, just checking in.
And on that scene, by the way, I went to college. I don't know if you went to a college where you.
I did not have the college experience, living on campus and stuff like that. I didn't get to enjoy that.
I'll let you know. The movie definitely played it up. You did not miss that much. But you did miss a little bit. So when mornings happen, like Schmidt sleeps with the captain's daughter Maya, and he's walking back, and you see like 10 other people simultaneously taking the walk of shame in like various directions, directions on the quad. It is not like that. Like there isn't just like a time where you go out. I will admit there are one or two people maybe out at like 5 a.m. walking back to their dorm and stuff like that.
I thought that was pretty funny that like it was like his shtick was just that he's got like he couldn't put his shoes on, right?
No.
He had to carry his shoes.
yes.
Okay, all right, I guess.
Yeah. It was like the perfect walk of shame little thing, and then he was just joined by like 10 other people. And
and then the second time he's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Like it's like nice to see you again. They're like the regulars on the walk of shame.
Yeah. That was funny. Like they did a good job. All college movies do this. They take a good job of like taking something that's real and exploding it to. The thing is that college party, I will admit, I'm not to out myself, I've seen a party of similar magnitude. It's
all right.
Are they as crazy? Probably not. But I've definitely seen a couple hundred people shoved into a house like that, and it was interesting how accurate it was for a movie, because normally you would think those things don't happen like that.
Right. There's usually like they always, like you said, they always kind of embellish something, but there is truths to a lot of this. I mean, I've been to some parties as well. That I mean, listen, nothing that crazy. Like I don't think I've ever been to one where it's like jammed, right? Like I probably wouldn't put myself in that scenario. I'd see that and I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna go get like a Slurpee or something.
Oh
and
man,
I just go like that's it.
I do actually have a funny story. I was at a rugby party once. I played rugby in college, and it was jammed. Like I mean, like shoulder to shoulder. Like you couldn't fit people in, and so one time I'm sitting on a stool and there's a sliding door in the back that leads to the backyard, and I'm on a stool. I'm just drinking a beer casually, and next to me. So earlier in the night, let's say around like 10 o'clock, a cop knocks on the door. They don't want to bust up the parties. They don't want to be jerks. So they say, quiet it down. Your neighbors are complaining. If you don't quiet down, we're going to have to break up the party. They leave. Around midnight, maybe a little later, I'm sitting with a beer by the sliding door, and two people walk up to me, and I look over, and one's one of the police officers, and he stands there. I kid you not, 3 minutes maybe, and he looks at me and he sees me look at him, and he says, I don't think they know I'm here. And I look at him and I'm like, nope. And he's just like, all right, we're breaking this up. and then I walk out. He doesn't arrest anyone. He breaks it up. But it was one of those moments where I'm like, that could have gone really bad. Like that could have gone.
It's you're lucky to have officers like that are like they understand the atmosphere and they understand what everyone's doing.
Yes.
But it could just as easily go the other way. Like you said, an officer could just have a stick in his butt and just come over and be like, all right, everybody, you know, and I don't know, who knows? It could escalate like crazy. You don't want to, obviously, I see mass parties like that, and I'm, like I said, I mean, I'm just like, I'm wiping my hands, I'm out, bro. I'm like, I wouldn't be able to talk to somebody if I wanted to, right? So like, what are we doing here?
I became that way once I became an RA. Like once I was an RA, and they said you lose your job if you're caught at a party. I would be at a party once it reached over like 20 to 30 people. I was like, all right, I'm out.
You're one of the bad guys now. You're the narc now. You're the narc.
I was the cop. Yeah, I was the schmidt.
No, it's no. So you could be So you could be like obviously, if you're an RA, you could judge accordingly. You know, you could kind of do similar like to what that cop's doing, but also kind of a narc.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So obviously, like you said, the parties are crazy in this one. One thing I was not expecting to see, and I didn't place this face when I watched it initially. But now, having watched, was it Captain America? Or no, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
You're now like freaking poor man's Captain America's in this movie. I didn't even know.
I didn't even realize him until I IMDb'd him. Because I was IMDb'ing a few people. And I was like, is that U.S. agent? I couldn't believe it. Because him with facial hair is a different person than him without facial hair.
For sure. We're talking about Wyatt Russell, plays the role of Zook in this movie, short for Bazooka, the quarterback of the football team. Just a real creative name there. But yeah, Wyatt Russell is now a part of the MCU. He's in the series Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But to see him like this as like a college football quarterback, like bro, you're like, oh my god,
super bro, like
so
that
bro.
was bro to another degree. That was just hilarious. Just his interactions with Jenko were just incredible.
Yeah, they were jabronis right from the start, man. It was love at first, bro.
It literally was that. It was literally that. Like they bump their heads. They're playing football together, and then they fall in love.
The Q-tip sandwich scene. You're like, that is so gross. Like,
yes.
And they were just chilling. They were like, yeah, that's cool. This is hilarious. That was a meet cute. That was
meet cute,
such a dumb joke, but I loved it.
I just love how instantly Schmidt and Jenko get this like this hurt lover relationship. Like they quickly go from best friends to like we're lovers, and this Zook guy's breaking us up, and they're just like jilted lovers for like 70% of the movie.
It's so their friendship is a relationship, and it's all just like every time something happens, it's like, oh no, it's okay. No, it's okay. I'll walk home. You don't need. It's so ridiculous.
The conversation where they break up. And they're talking about the job, and they're talking about splitting up to investigate other people, but they're using investigate other people as see other people. And that I loved that conversation. I loved everything where it meant more than one thing. And that was this entire movie.
And at the very end, whenever it's all said and done, Zook's in the crowd and he's like, that's who he should be with. He's with like Janko and Schmidt are obviously having a moment again, and then he's like, no, it's right. This feels right. That's who they're supposed to be with. It's so dumb.
The hazing scene, because I gotta ask you, do you think that was as bad as Schmidt made it seem to be? Because it looked fun to me.
Okay, so yeah, it wasn't like shaming, really. It was just like drink a lot, play a lot of drinking games, and drink and jump over stuff. Like it really wasn't even that big of a deal.
Like right before the breakup, they're getting hazed because they're trying to go undercover and join a frat, and they decide to add in Jenko and take Schmidt along as like the little brother who has to tag along. And Schmidt hates the hazing process, and all they're doing is like playing beer pong, drinking, beer Olympics.
Yeah, I think if I was going to tap out, I would have tapped out immediately after the fake kidnapping. I wouldn't have gone through the entire hours of drinking games and stuff, and then been like, actually, I'm out of here. Like I would have been immediately out.
That instantly just brought up. I hate to have another sidebar.
Oh man,
there was when I played rugby, they have like a system where you have like a big and a little, sort of like frats and sororities. And one time, all the bigs they had a van with no windows. I'm not going to call it by its other name.
That's sketchy. Yes. All right.
So it was just cost effective, and it was the best way to travel the team around. So they text us to like get desserts or get something, and then they drove around picking us up, and we didn't know where we were going.
That is weird.
It just ended up being like a party, but like we each had to bring like desserts. It was ridiculous, but it was a lot of fun. Like that's why the hazing thing. I know obviously in colleges, some colleges take hazing way too far, and it's
right.
A problem.
Oh, for sure.
It's definitely a problem. But like my experience was it was hilarious. Like it was funny. So yeah. I think Schmidt took it a little too far. He was a little too sensitive.
Right. I just think to go through that whole thing, dude, it's like basically over, right? Like what? Just be done with it. Obviously, how do you even come to your senses after all that? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like how do you even make the decision consciously to be like, actually, I'm done. Like now all of a sudden you can talk and everything after drinking that much. I just feel like that's like a decision you would have made the next day after you woke up hungover.
Schmidt gave me some of my favorite scenes in this movie. Like later on in the movie, there's a bad guy named Ghost, and he's distributing drugs throughout the college. And we find out that he's actually doing it through his daughter, Mercedes, who's Maya's roommate. That coincidence is just crazy enough.
Hilarious. She was hilarious, by the way. And all the scenes where they're in the room, and it's like, it's Maya and Schmidt, and she's just like a fly on the wall. I'm like, oh, you guys didn't realize I was here the whole time? And he just constantly ragging on him for being old.
That splash of deadpan, like I think that's why Aubrey Plaza was as successful as she was. Like having a very, very like out loud comedy, and then you have that one deadpan person.
Yeah, that's just saying it as it is. Yeah, it's just so funny.
She killed every scene she was in.
Absolutely.
So Mercedes and Schmidt are actually fighting because they're down at spring break. They're fighting in like a hotel room. But Mercedes, you could tell, just doesn't have a lot of attention, like she from the opposite sex or anyone in general.
Right.
Yeah, like she, like clearly Schmidt and Maya could have full nights together and not realize Mercedes is in the room. Yeah. So when they're fighting, Mercedes like leans in to like kiss Schmidt, and she
such an awkward scene.
She has like these like she starts giving him like this like seductive face, and she like tries to kiss him but then backs away when she realizes he doesn't want to kiss her, and she's like, were you trying to kiss me? And he's like, no, were you? And then they go back and forth, and they like they bring up he said, are you trying to Mr. and Mrs. Smith me? So they agree that they're gonna just start fighting again, but then she starts trying to kiss him again. And then he finally says, he's like, I'm just going to punch you. Yeah. And that, oh my God, like Jonah Hill, there was a run there for like 6 years before like Jonah Hill decided to get serious, where he was just so hilarious in every role he was in.
Yeah, I think he's always going to have that. He's always got that comedy chops. I think in this movie particular, I think is his weirdest look, personally. The short hair wasn't doing him any favors as far as like youth, and This
was after he lost a lot of weight, right? Like this was one of his first movies after.
I think he actually lost more weight even after this movie. But yeah, he was definitely slimmed up from Superbad Jonah Hill. That was, Superbad Jonah Hill was another level.
Yes. And just wrapping it up, just a few more things that I noticed in this movie before we get into the props. Like, please, how ridiculous was Jenko using that drunk girl as a weapon in the fight on the beach?
Absolutely ridiculous. I was watching it because she was like really whipping her legs. Like she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat this." You know what I mean? Obviously, it's choreographed, and she's like a professional. So, but you could really see it when she's swooping around to like actually make contact with these people.
Yeah,
it was very, very calculated. One thing, real quick, I know we were talking a lot about the meta humor in this thing, but when he's searching for the tattoo. Yeah, and he finds out that this guy, Rooster, I think is the friend of Zook, he winds up having a tattoo, and it's a red herring.
Yeah,
that's the meta humor stuff. Where it's like the tattoo was a red herring.
Yes,
and it was a red herring. It was like, it's so funny that they would do
like
that.
The writers behind this movie, like I know I said it once, but they took time with this movie. Like this wasn't just thrown together in a bad movie. Like you could tell there was care behind it, and I think, like you said, that's why it's like endeared. That's why it's a good movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to touch on one more thing. I know we already went over it, but the scene where there's like obviously Schmidt's gloating about making sweet passionate love in college, but his line where he's like, "I'm talking missionary," and then I'm talking missionary, and then I'm talking about when she's on her back and I'm on top, and it's like that was such a dumb. Again, it goes back to the writing. It's just so stupid. But it's hilarious. The stupid stuff like that.
And Jenko realizing, like Jenko taking a minute to realize that Schmidt slept with the captain's daughter, and he's running. He's running around high-fiving everyone. He's like, "Oh my God, Schmidt slept with the captain's daughter," and he's singing it.
I will say, Captain Dixon took it pretty well. I mean, I know he was obviously very upset. Yeah. But to allow that to happen where he was going around, skipping around, and he's like, obviously, every time he says that, it's another foot up your ass. That's just like Ice Cube's delivery and the way he just, the scenes, especially where he finds out and they're at the dinner or the lunch or whatever that was. Ice Cube plays that well because it's literally just so you could see the anger. Like he's just got resting anger face and he delivers that fantastically. But very calm to not actually result to like physical harm. I thought that was like, wow.
He harms the heck out of that. What was it, turkey or pheasant?
Oh, yeah. There was like a full turkey or whatever. He was ripping the hell out of the legs. Yeah, it was funny. It was all good.
Oh, God. Jonah Hill's line, he's like, "He's a black man. Can he get some water? He's been through enough."
Yeah. Oh, my God. Man, some water. Oh. Yeah, that's the uncomfortable stuff. Obviously, whenever it goes on, like my wife knew I was watching this movie, and she ran into the room because she wanted to live in that moment again. Because it's just the chaos of that scenes is hilarious. It's just uncomfortable. It's not. There's a lot of stuff that like makes you cringe, and you just don't even want to watch, and you'll fast forward it. But some things are just done so well, and it's just so funny that you're like, okay, I can sit through this just to get the payoff, and they do very well in this film. Anywho, one other thing I wrote down before we get into it. And I have to mention the other little tidbit that I've been saving for the end of this film, and before we get into the props. So real quick, whenever they're doing the football game, I just wanted to make a note. The way that they were in the football game and the quarterback's just saying number, color.
Yes.
That's this parody of every football game, every football player. Yes. It's just smacking them in the face with just how dumb that is. It's just number, color, number.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so dumb. And then again, we'll wrap the movie up. Obviously, the movie's over, but they go through and they do a bunch of like the 2023, 24 sequel stuff. That's really cool. One thing that was mentioned over the span between now and when it came out in 2014, it had legs and it never came to fruition, but the idea was so ridiculous that had it happen, especially with the writing and everything that they did here, I think it could have been a hit. So they discussed a sequel involving, I know obviously they were kind of going in, everything was kind of like you're going to blank school, you're going to culinary, medical school, all this stuff. This has nothing to really do with school, but they had an idea to bring back, and I think it was because the studios had the rights to all these films, and they were trying to figure out a way to integrate it. they were trying to find a way to get Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill to come back for another sequel, whether it be 23 Jump Street or not. It would probably be called something different. But where they somehow stumble into the universe of Men in Black.
No.
I swear to God.
Doyle.
And this was getting tossed around. It's real. This happened.
No.
This was a real, I'm telling you, these ideas were being tossed around. It never came to fruition.
Why
but it
not?
Actually, I don't know. It had legs. I'm sure they both would have been on board for it. But they obviously, Men in Black went on and they wound up doing another thing, and they wanted to reboot it. They probably wanted to reboot it in a more serious way than to just give the rights to Men in Black to these guys so they could poo-poo it with their humor. You know what I mean? I could see that being the resistance being everybody involved with Men in Black would have been. It would have been hilarious.
I need a scene with Jenko and Schmidt and the worms sitting and having a conversation. And or I need a scene where Jenko meets Frank for the first time, Frank the dog.
Yeah.
Because that would be incredible.
So that would, just how they transitioned into that. Like, they would have had to stumble across it, their stupidity, and they're just, it would have been amazing to see that transition. You can't do it without everything that comes with Men in Black. So if they wanted to do alien stuff and they didn't do it without, if they found to just be like, I guess we won't use Men in Black, we'll just do it anyway, it wouldn't have landed as well. But to take the Men in Black universe and throw these two fools into it, I think it would have been hilarious.
It would have been great. I know I've been talking about Schmidt a lot, but Channing Tatum was so confidently stupid in this movie.
He plays that very well. Yeah.
He's so, oh my God, when he said, "Don't we have Kate Blanchett with the with the budget?" Yeah. Schmidt's like, carte blanche. He's like, yes.
I also read something too that said that they were actually trying to get Kate Blanchett for one of the fake sequels in the end.
Oh my God!
As a callback to that line, they're like, but she was actually busy. I guess she was shooting 3 other movies at the time, and they, it just wasn't fitting with their timeline. But they wanted to get her just to throw her in one of those things. But they got Anna Faris, they had Bill Hader,
they had Seth Rogen. I almost died.
Yeah, and then they go back to Jonah Hill, and it's like contract there was no contract negotiations or dispute. Yeah, it was so funny that they just kept going, and they were up to they went to the 50s or something. It was 47, and then it went into 21 Jump Street. Yeah, it was stupid, but obviously it was a lot. Those are a lot of fun. I almost had more fun watching those than I did watching the movie, because just the amount of time that they took to make every little mini fake thing, and whoever's doing the movie posters for it was having a blast.
Yes.
Just taking their photos and doing the stupid dance and the.
I was gonna do this at the end of the props, so you already brought it up. Of the movie posters, what was your favorite? If one of them could be real, I was gonna save this, but you already brought it up. If one
it
of the posters,
has to be the dance one where Jonah Hill's they're both dancing and Jonah Hill's doing that pose. It looks so ridiculous, but there's obviously there's so many good ones.
There was a lot of good ones. Mine would have to be the Magic School.
Oh,
I think Channing Tatum has lightning coming out of his fingers, something crazy. There's doves, and Magic School I think was my favorite poster.
Damn, there's so many good ones. Yeah, I don't think they were actually made into posters, so I don't think we'll be able to draft it in the props. But the fact that they took the time to make that many individual movie posters, kudos to them for that dedication. That's definitely hilarious, and it makes the credits a million times more fun.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
End of movie, when things just hit, because it did. I won't say it ended kind of flat, but it did end more abruptly than I remember before the before I remember all the sequel stuff that they did. But it definitely helped the ending of this movie, just to make a few more laughs, a little more laughs at the end. But all right, let's get into it. Let's do this. Ooh, my eardrums have exploded.
Did that hit harder than normal?
I think it did. I think our ears are sensitive. It's late. It might be one of those things. Okay. I actually had the volume up a little higher too, so my apologies.
Why didn't you just lead with that?
Because I was trying to find a way to get around it without blaming myself, and now here we are. I got to blame myself. All right, so you nominated this movie because your obsession with the number 22 period, and on this monumental day of release. If you're not listening to this on 2/22/22, you really missed it. You really screwed the pooch. If you could get a time machine and go back, it feels a lot better to listen to this on 2/22/22. Wait, real quick, I just want to make one reference. If you're in the future right now, and if you're somehow in, well, I guess it would be No, let's just do 100 years from now, right?
Yes.
100 years from now.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this. Yeah. I'm just now I'm thinking of how crazy 22 is going to be.
I'm just wondering what 2122, like if somehow all data doesn't get erased and we're not, like, whoever's listening to this right now would be the equivalent of today's like kid who's watching like Charlie Chaplin or like the very first black and white movies.
Yeah.
Like, one, kudos to you for enjoying things of the past. I'm sorry things will never seem as good as the past seems, but
you'll never know how good a good yeet and a dab is because it's just so cool. The kids are doing it nowadays. No.
So I heard one thing on a podcast once, like the reason why like movies and music from the past seem so good is because all the crap gets filtered out. So for every like Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, there was like 1,000 really bad songs, but 40 years later no one's listening to the bad songs, only the good songs survive. So you still have it good in 2122. Yeah, you still have it good, so don't think that things were better. You still got it,
right? If you're listening to us right now, obviously it makes a lot of sense because we're timeless and everything we did was gold, and it still is because we're still making these. Anyway, find us on the old Glib Glob. I think that's where you can find all our new podcasts. And they're not called podcasts anymore. They're called Schmarm Fests.
Well, at this point, I'm pretty sure we're just put into everyone's consciousness at the beginning. They just have to think hard enough.
So we actually draft props at some point. I think we're going to do that right now. But yeah, like I said, you nominated this movie, Tyler. So you will start us off with your pick.
So the prop that I'm going to lead off with it. I wish it got more screen time, and it didn't. I really thought it should have, but I'm going to start with the Golden Guns. So the Golden Guns were on the movie poster. It was either for this one or the first one or both, to be honest. But Schmidt has a pair of is it Schmidt or Jenko?
Yeah, Schmidt was holding them prominently in the very beginning of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Schmidt has a pair of Golden Guns that just look incredible. And I wish that they should have come back at the end of the movie. I don't know why they didn't.
Right. You don't go through the effort to make Golden Guns and not just wield them anytime you can. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really want the Golden Guns. I saw those, and honestly, when I think of 21/22 Jump Street, I picture the Golden Guns. Like, they're prominent to me.
That's a good pick. That was the very first thing I wrote down. Obviously, when you see him pop that case open and these badass guns are in there that are gold.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of, like, obviously GoldenEye, Nintendo 64.
Of course.
Like, the one shot, baby. You got to have that. So that's a good pick. I can't be mad at that. I will say there's this one, we're going to drop off here pretty quick. It's
yes.
There's none of this is making top prop list. I can assure you that. But we're having fun, and there's a lot of weird stuff. So I don't know if I'm going to go. Do I want something prominent? I think means a little more to the movie. All right, I think I'm going to take the fun. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm going to get a couple good ones I know that I like. I think I'm going to take Jenko's Statesman football jersey. The number 17 football jersey.
Ooh.
Yeah, I want the jersey. I want it framed up, and it's obviously, that's his. It says, I think it's McQuaid. It says McQuaid on the back.
It does say McQuaid. But, Doyle, I almost went with that.
Oh, okay.
That's
right.
and there's the only reason I didn't was I'm gonna have trouble with my second pick. Are you finished though? Is that
that's it. That's my second pick. I think that'll be it's very easy to display, and it was very prominent. Obviously the football team was like a focal point of the movie. So yeah.
Yes. So my second pick. Let me know if this infringes. I'm torn because there's 3 versions of the item I wanted. I initially wanted the giant rubber Statesman football helmet that they run through. And
okay.
But then I saw them playing in the game.
So much better stuff pops up later in the movie, but yeah.
Yeah. And then I wanted the actual Statesman helmet once I saw them playing in the game.
Right.
But then the scene with the Statesman go-kart helmet.
Right.
So I'm sitting here and I'm like, there's 3 versions of this helmet, which would just be like better to have. And, I think I'm going to settle on the Statesman helmet go-kart.
I think you have to, right? I mean, it's like it's right in your wheelhouse. It's transportation. It's like every movie you have to find some way to get a vehicle in your picks. And that was what I was leaning towards too. It was I didn't put the thing that he ran through, but I did put the helmet that they were wearing, like the Statesman helmet. And then when I saw the golf cart, I think it was a golf cart with the helmet on it. Yes. I was like, no, this thing got to get picked for sure. So that's a good solid pick. So you're going Golden Guns, and then you're doing the Statesman helmet golf cart. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, see, that's actually that's something that I have to actually cross up because I was a big fan of that.
Ooh, okay.
That was gonna get picked. It was getting picked for sure by me.
You're gonna have a full Statesman room.
I didn't want to double up, but I kind of had to. It was just so ridiculous. They took the time to put a helmet on top of a golf cart. So, I don't want to go back to the helmet because it just feels like I'm now just assembling.
Was that something you were gonna think about?
If I didn't get the jersey, I would have probably taken. If I didn't get the jersey or the golf cart, which are now both drafted, I would have taken the real helmet, the player helmet.
Something about orange and blue, like that was a good color combo. I liked that.
It does look pretty cool. So I'm gonna take something that I thought was funny, and they do call back. I think they call back to this in the sequels, the fake sequels. If you watch it long enough, you'll be able to see it. But at the beginning of the movie, when he does do that thing where he's like, let me find my character. He's got to find my character, and he goes in. And the octopus pops out.
Yes, I have that on my list.
The octopus that just sucks on his face and inks in his mouth.
It's inking in my mouth.
Yes. So Schmidt takes ink to the mouth. That I want that. It's obviously a fake octopus. And I want that octopus because it's just that's so easy to display. It's so dumb, and it's an octopus that inked in his mouth.
I love that he broke character so fast because up until that point he was playing like this Mexican drug lord, and then instantly it gets on his face.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that Jenko's like, I'm Jeff.
My name Jeff. My name Jeff.
Do an accent. It's all over the map. It's so bad. But that whole scene's so stupid. And out of all the things that you could have expected to pull out of a box, you're thinking like drugs or weapons or something. A freaking octopus leaps out of the water onto his face. It's so dumb, but it's such a funny scene, and it's a very well done octopus. And when it crawls away, on the ground, that's weird looking. I mean, that's very strange. But anyway, I want the octopus. That's a no-brainer.
That's a good one. I'm torn between two things. Either way, I'm gonna feel pretty confident afterwards. One thing was hilarious, and then one thing was just like a focal point of the movie. Oh no, I just thought of a third.
No.
Oh no. No.
Easy. What are you gonna do, man?
Oh no.
You're really going through it right now.
No, because I was sold on my two things, and then one third item popped up into my head, and oh no.
You're only gonna get. Oh wait, one more pick.
One more.
Not that I'm not trying to make it any more difficult than it needs to be, but you only have one more pick, so really don't.
You know what? I'm making a hard left, and I'm going to be proud of it. I like to think of myself as a man of refined taste.
Okay, sure.
So, sure.
No, I mean, sure. Yeah. No, okay.
None of those are the answer I was looking for.
Yes, I'm totally agreeing. Obviously, you can see confidently I'm agreeing with you. I'm not saying you're not, but
For those of you on audio, go over to YouTube, timestamp this moment right now, and you have to see the look on my face.
Oh man, I'm trying to stop talking, but I can't.
You can't.
Stop.
No, you're digging. Yeah. How'd you end up married, sir?
That's a good question. This is a lot. This is how it goes here. Go ahead. No, say your thing.
I am a man of refined taste, so I believe I need some art in my life.
Oh,
and
maybe.
One thing that was actually brought up early on in the movie and then later on brought up when Schmidt meets Maya, they actually sit in front of a sculpture that is what I believe is two eggs leaning against one another.
Sure they are.
That Schmidt later on quote says they look like testicles.
They do. They do look like testicles.
I saw eggs, to be honest.
Okay, well, you're a more mature man than I.
And refined.
Yes,
I'm a
refined.
gentleman.
Sorry, that's it. Yes.
I want that sculpture. I feel like that'd be cool with some lights shining down, like in a dark room with just light shining down on the sculpture.
I'm sorry, you would put those massive, eggs in a room?
Yeah, that's what you do with art.
Well, listen, I don't know about you, but I don't have a room that big. We're all operating under the assumption that we have a mansion for our props and can display them. So yeah, you wouldn't put them out in the front lawn or something, you know?
I'm not putting testicles on my front lawn.
Well, you said they're eggs. It's art.
Yeah, but everyone else
where did your refinement go?
Everyone's gonna think like you, and now I'm self-conscious about my eggs.
Yeah, I'd probably like have some like rolls of hay, you know, just to I'd put like 3 or 4 in front of it just to I'd be like, yeah.
The thing is, does the hay make it look like eggs sitting in like a little chicken nest, or is it supposed to look like
No, I'm talking about I want it rolled up, you know, then I want like 3 or 4 of them connected.
Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
Go to pick number 3, Doyle.
All right, sorry. I'm just trying to help your lawn out. I'm enhancing your artwork. Anyway, okay, so yeah, that's a fair the art. There were a lot of art pieces that they incidentally just put in to just destroy at the end of the movie, where the Hummer's chasing them on the go-kart or the golf cart, and they just go through. I love how they go through. They're like, we have to go through the robotics lab. And they're just finding ways to just destroy more stuff. I thought that was pretty funny. Okay, so. You didn't. I mean, that was nowhere on my radar. I was just. It wasn't even. It
wasn't on my radar either. And then last minute, I was like, you know what? I liked those.
Okay, so I'll be curious to hear what you were waffling over. Okay. And we'll do that after I make my pick here, because there were a couple things in the movie that I wrote down that had prominent roles, but I don't think I can go with it though, because I'm a sucker for what I'm about to pick. I don't want to spoil it yet. But again, It's another thing that happens in the sequels after the movie, which I found a lot of the coolest stuff was just the dumb stuff that they created for the fake sequels at the end.
Yeah.
The Jump Street action figures.
Those are good. Those are really good. Those are really good.
It's like the full set. I think it has the Dixon, the Jenko, and the Schmidt. I don't know if there were other ones or not, but I
actually almost wrote down the lunch pail.
Yeah, there's so much dumb stuff, like all the merch that they put at the end. You're like, man, those are kind of cool.
So you want the Jump Street action figures?
Yeah, I want the play set of action figures. I'm getting greedy.
Yeah,
I want all 3.
Take all 3.
Okay, all right. So you
can take all 3 with the lunch pail.
Well, I don't need the lunch pail, but I guess
okay, fine. I'll take the lunch pail.
Oh, no one's taking the lunch pail. The picks are over. You can't steal picks. Okay, all right, so let's go back real quick. You picked the Golden Guns. I picked the Statesman jersey, number 17. Obviously, that was Jenko's. You picked the golf cart with the helmet. I picked the octopus. You picked. What's a puck?
I don't know. What is it? Tell me.
I'm not sure. We're about to find out. Don't Google.
Don't Google that.
That's you can't just start. You can't just Google words you don't know, because then it's like you accidentally click images. You never know. Yeah. Anyway, you have the eggs artwork that is also looks like a testicle, and then I picked the action figures. So, what is left? What were you waffling over before we get out of here?
My waffle was actually between an item that had a cameo, Vietnamese Jesus. Because they talked about the Korean Jesus from the first movie, and then Vietnamese Jesus.
Yeah.
And then the little baggie with the Wi-Fi drugs. Because I actually very much enjoyed the logo with the skull with the Wi-Fi signals coming off its head.
Yeah. So that didn't get enough screen time. It was like you didn't really see it until like what was it, spring break? Like
yeah, you didn't see the drugs at all. Like the drugs were in food. But they didn't actually show like drug deals going on. So I was happy when they actually showed the Wi-Fi with the skull, and that I like that logo. And then my last
it's a shame that they would make that logo and do all that work and not actually give it more screen time, more, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, they should have. And my last item was the pink backpack with all the money, but that didn't feel
a little rolly backpack, had wheels and everything. That was adorable. Okay, so mine left off the grapple gun. They had a grapple gun, bro. I almost picked it.
So the fact that you bring that, I was gonna ask you once we're all done, like if there's one item from this movie that you wish was real and could like actually function and work, what would it be?
It's absolutely the grapple gun.
I was gonna say the grapple gun.
I love how like they do it, and then it's not even like the gun takes you up. It's like let's just make a nice tight line, and then it's Jonah Hill going up. Like it's Schmidt rising at like a quarter mile an hour. Not even like he's just like going so slow.
Yeah.
That's funny. That stupidness of that. And then Schmidt's Park Patrol uniform at the it's pretty close to the end, but he's patrolling the parks again like they were in 2021 Dump Street. And it just says Schmidt. It's got his little, I went a little more clothing on this one because I thought there was some decent outfits. Obviously the football jersey. I'm a sports guy. I mean that's pretty cool. And then the grenade that's pulled out of Schmidt's shorts.
Yeah,
that was the last one I wrote down.
If that grenade was a little more definitive, it just looked like a typical black ball grenade, I would have definitely. It's funny you say clothes because I wanted the shirts that they wore at the end, the spring break shirts. Jenko had the Suns Out, Guns Out tank top, and Schmidt had one that said something about tequila.
It said spring break, Puerto Mexico.
Oh, okay, spring break, Puerto Mexico. Those I liked both of those outfits, but I decided not to go in outfit this time.
That's fair. We don't really dabble too much in the outfit unless it's like a superhero costume. Obviously, if you go back in our future episodes, we've got a couple good costumes that way. What
you said go back to our future episodes.
Yeah, Back to the Future. I'm talking about the people in 100 years from now. All right, they'll get that reference. All right, because Back to the Future will be it'll be real life.
I was gonna say it's a 100th remake.
Yes. So if you went back in time to listen to this podcast, when you go Back to the Future, you know what I'm talking about. Everyone gets it. All right. Leave me alone, okay?
It's late. It's Doyle's bedtime.
It's way past my bedtime. Okay, so I went to the propstore.com. I didn't see anything 22 Jump Street. I'm not shocked, but I did go to yourprops.com where you can see people that actually register props from films if they're owning it or maybe they put it up for sale. It's crossed somewhere on the interwebs. The spring break shirt that Schmidt wears is on here. Somebody does have the actual movie costume. Jonah Hill screen worn spring break shirt. The Janko's hero, or it says hero helmet, but it's the Statesman helmet, the football helmet is on here as well. And then just a lot of like clothing, pom-poms, pretty much everything from the football games, foam fingers, all that kind of stuff. So heavy on the football paraphernalia, the Statesman stuff, but that's the easy stuff. So yeah, what is that? Hold on.
Uh-oh.
No way. This is ridiculous.
What?
I got to send you this link. This is insane. Okay, so I just pulled it up. 22 Jump Street, Jenko and Schmidt's burnt football helmet golf cart. Remember it burst into flames at the end when they took down that the field goal post at the end?
Yes.
They actually lit it on fire. So like whatever they had a prop one that they lit on fire, and I'm going to send you the link right now so you can look at it because it's so ridiculous. But
someone owns this?
Yeah, it's toasted. This thing is absolutely trashed.
It is 100% trashed.
That's hilarious, though. I think that's hilarious. And they have the picture. They have the picture too, just in case you forgot the scene where it explodes. Yep. Which, by the way, electric golf cart. Like, there's just like no way that explodes. I mean, like, it's so dumb.
I mean, he pulled the limiter off.
Okay, I mean, like that's not even really a thing, though. Like, they're just like that's just a stupid car thing that they're like, if you take it off, you could go faster. Yeah. That's not it. But the fact that they actually did burn it. And look, it's like sitting in a warehouse. There's a photo of it just chilling in a warehouse with like countless other movie props. This is where our we want all this stuff. Yeah. This is where it's just sitting in a warehouse. We're trying to display it hypothetically in our imaginary mansions that we don't
would
own.
make it look much better than this site makes it look.
Right. But it is cool. I do like going to these websites. Obviously, propstore.com, you can go and check and see what's available for movies you like. You can search by movies and see stuff like that. I actually, we've done all these episodes. We have yet to actually obtain a real movie prop. I think maybe that's something we're going to have to look into in the future. Maybe in the future episodes, we could try to do like a giveaway or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
You have a Turbo Man doll.
Okay, yeah, but that's not like screen use. I'm talking, I want an actual prop. We're the movie Propcast, bro. We got to give props to the people. Which is actually is that our new tagline? We give props to the people. Did we? That was
what?
Okay, all right, hold on. I'm gonna bottle that. up.
Yeah, you
TM. Yeah, that's trademarked. You can't do anything with that now, people. But thank you so much for listening. I think we'll be. I don't want to spoil it, but we'll be back next week, which is 1 week from 2/22/22. We're gonna come back. We're gonna hit you with another movie. And I don't know what it is yet. I have yet to decide. But it's going to be, quote, I've said this to Tyler, a banger. And I think, again, you're listening in the future. People said that back in the day. No one really says that now in our time, but I'm still saying it because it's hip to the jive. People aren't saying that either.
And I'm going to cut Doyle off. Thank you for listening, and hopefully you come back because that was abysmal.
Yeah, okay, thank you. At Movie Propcast on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, and again, you can watch full episodes like Tyler said in the middle of this if you want to see his face and his reaction to me basically backhandedly calling him not a very refined individual. But he is. At the end of the day, he is. But really, is he?
Yeah, you see him trying to bring me back for another episode. Do you see this?
Let's do at least one more. We'll try it. But all right, I'll catch you later, Tyler. It's been fun, and we'll be back. We'll see you guys later.
Yep. Love you.
Oh, well, okay, sure.